Hello food fans, going to have some White Castles. I remember when these used to be a nickel each. This cost $4.07. It was on sale at Kroger, and 6 hamburgers, so about 80 cents per burger. And I'll eat all 6 of them, of course, so I'll have a $5 meal here. Plus I'm going to have a salad. And my salad is cabbage, carrots, and tomato chopped up with some mayonnaise and relish and ketchup on same. And I also am going to have some potatoes. Instead of having French fries, which I could be having French fries, but these would be similar to it. These are canned potatoes. They're low cost, and I drain them and chop them up and then fry them. They get a little bit dark on one side, and that's going to be lunch plus a secret ingredient for dessert. So let's get started. And this all looks good. Keep the kids away from the stove and the microwave and any sharp knives if you're making a salad, as I made this salad here with cabbage and carrots and tomatoes and some mayonnaise and some relish and some ketchup all mixed together. And you can see how nice that looks, and it will taste delicious as it always does. I have cabbage almost every day. Tomato is good. Tomatoes are not too expensive right now, at Aldi anyway. I buy the Roma type tomatoes. That is good. The White Castle hamburgers are very hot. Had them in the microwave for 45 seconds. They come two to a package. And out there. I think these are smaller than they used to be back when I first ate White Castle hamburgers, probably about 1945, Hammond, Indiana. They were nickel. Potatoes are good. Potatoes go pretty well with anything. I don't get the cheeseburgers. I like my hamburger just to be a hamburger. And I'm not going to put any mustard or relish or anything on it. I'm just going to eat it as it is. And these came from the frozen food section at Kroger. And they do taste like the White Castles that used to be served in the restaurant, not quite as good as the restaurant version. In the restaurant they put a pickle on, slice of pickle, and more onions. But this is a good, low-cost lunch. As I say, we will have a secret dessert. And some root beer. I don't know if they serve root beer at White Castle. I'm not sure what kind of beverages they have there now. I have not been to a White Castle restaurant probably in 30 years. White Castle's a family-owned franchise. Let's talk a little bit about something that's in the news, but it's not really given any attention. I don't know if it really was on TV news. I don't watch TV. Some Russian scientists went to Antarctica. And the story is they had an adventure that cost at least two of the scientists their lives. They apparently dug a tunnel under the ice. They found a lake. And of course it is possible to have above freezing temperatures with an ice roof over it. We found a lake. And they explored the lake and they found something, or it found them. True story. I'm probably the best salad maker in the world. The scientists went into the lake. Before I tell you any more, I'm going to tell you something about starfish and octopuses, octopi. A starfish. If there's an area in the ocean where there's too many starfish, sometimes people try to get rid of the starfish that are there by putting a net out, bringing up all the starfish they can get, chopping the starfish in two, and throwing them back into the ocean to be food for some other creature. Then they come back a couple of weeks later and they find out they got twice as many starfish as they started with. True story again, in case you don't know. If you cut a starfish in two, you now have two starfish. I don't know if that always happens, but as far as I know it does. Each half of the starfish would grow into another starfish. An octopus, if you cut off its legs, let's say you cut off one of its tentacles, it's attacking you, and you cut off one of its tentacles, that leg that you cut off will still fight you, and the leg will try to feed food to the mouth of the octopus, even though it might not be aware of where the mouth of the octopus is. So armed with that information, scientists went into the lake. They found an octopus that had 7 legs, or the octopus found them. And apparently it was big enough to kill them, but it was not a normal octopus. I shouldn't say it wasn't normal, it's quite normal for where it was. It's not like the octopuses or octopi that we are used to seeing. It was more aggressive, more intelligent, bigger. And part of the story, this part might not be true. Time for root beer. Part of the story is that they cut off one of the octopus's legs, and then later that night the octopus leg crawled onto the land and tried to attack him. You'd think something like that would get a little bit more attention in the news, and more to the story is that the Russians denied that it happened, and supposedly they're trying to make a weapon out of the octopus, use it to attack any of their enemies, like get some of the octopuses and dump them into an enemy swimming pond or something. Good subject matter for eating a salad. Also, in reading about Antarctica, I found out that if a person commits a crime in Antarctica, they are punished by the laws of their country. I guess turned over to authorities in their country. Antarctica itself apparently does not really have laws or a government. It's just there for whatever country wants to go there to do whatever they want to do. If they find diamonds there, who owns them? White Castle hamburger, good. White Castle hamburger, good. White Castle hamburger, good. White Castle hamburger, good. Potatoes are good. Root beer is good. And for anyone who's never had White Castles, if it sounds like a lot of hamburgers, eating 6 hamburgers at one lunch, that's not a lot with White Castle. I am sure that there are many people who could consume 20 White Castles. Leave a comment if you can eat 20 White Castles or whatever your limit is. For me, I think about a dozen was the most I ever ate at one time. And they used to be bigger, I think. Good food. A similar story to the story about Antarctica, where you have 53 countries that got together and decided that any crimes there would be punished by the alleged perpetrator's country of origin. In outer space, there's been an agreement by a lot of the U.S., a lot of the world governments, that outer space does not belong to any one country, which would be interesting to see what happens when Elon Musk goes to Mars and he sets up a colony. He wants to have 1 million people there in 50 years, or by 2050. How does he deal with crime? Suppose China or Russia or France, Great Britain, some other country wants to send a few astronauts up to Mars to set up their own colony. Who pays for the traffic lights at the intersections or whatever they need? That would be easy government decisions on Earth. White Castle hamburgers. They've been around since the 1920s. I think 1926. I might be wrong on that. I tried to get a franchise for White Castle when I lived in Las Vegas, 1970s. And I was told there would be no franchises. Even the family would not build restaurants west of the Mississippi River. That's a good lunch. Biggest McDonald's I know of is in Barstow, and I wonder how they are dealing with any quarantine issues in California. It's a huge complex of buildings and train cars put together into a unique fast food experience. They had in Barstow at McDonald's, and hopefully still have, about 6 cash registers with people waiting in line to pay money for fast food. Plus they sell souvenirs there, or they did sell souvenirs. I hope they're still doing that. Barstow's about halfway between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. The trip between Las Vegas and Los Angeles is approximately 300 miles. Root beer's good. Root beer is definitely one of my favorites in the soft drink arena. I also like lemon lime drinks like 7-Up. If I'm playing piano at a piano bar and singing lots of songs for several hours, lemon lime soda is better for my voice than cola or root beer. I will leave a link if I can find a good page that has news about that Russian scientific expedition to Antarctica. Nothing would surprise me if it's true. White Castle hamburgers just simply found a really good recipe. There are several taste-alike locations, Crystal, Prince Castle, I think a few others. These are just plain good. I'll probably be doing some collabs in the not too distant future. friend of mine who lives nearby is a musician whom I have known for more than 30 years. He and I appeared on 2 gong shows. He and I used to perform at the Palomino Club in North Hollywood. And he has a recording studio, plus he has 2 dogs. The dogs don't know how to play any music. They can yodel, I think. We'll finish this hamburger. A few little onions here. And believe it or not, kids like the onions on White Castles. They won't give any problem on those. Looks like there's four bites per burger. And I looked at the package. The sodium content on the White Castles was not as bad as I thought it would be. Probably still too much sodium, but not as bad as most processed foods. That was good. Now the secret dessert. This is from Aldi's. This is blueberry yogurt. Blueberry yogurt. It was 32 cents. So that's a bargain. Let's see how much it is. 6 ounces apparently. I remember when they used to come in 8-ounce packages, but 6 ounces is still a good size for a 1-serving dessert. And it tastes good. Yogurt tastes a lot like ice cream. Blueberry. Very good lunch. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching.